You know how I know it's finally spring? Not because there are, you know, plants growing outside and the flowers are coming up, but because I now have mosquito bites on my arm. I have 3 of them already and it's not even May. Oh, this is depressing. I'm one of those people that mosquitoes just love, and I will like cover myself in blankets and a hood and like everything, and somehow they'll just weasel their way in and always bite me. Like, I'm kind of impressed, but I'm also super annoyed because I'm very itchy right now. Hello everyone! I am here today to share with you guys another 5-star rated makeup tutorial, and today I'm going to be testing out 5-star makeup from the drugstore, and I'm so excited about this one because there are a bunch of products that I know I already owned and already loved, and there are a bunch of new products that I've never tried before, and I'm super stoked to slather them all over my face. In case you guys missed it, I tested out a bunch of 5-star rated makeup from Sephora, and I did a whole tutorial on that. I will link it down below so you guys can check that out after the video if you are interested. But today it's all about the drugstore products. So for this video, in terms of what is considered a 5-star rated drugstore product, I have used the Ulta.com website, and I set the price range for $15 or under because I know Ulta also has a lot of high-end products as well. So I wanted to keep it to a price point that was more in the drugstore range. So you guys will see my first impression of the product, and I will also do a wrap up at the end of the day so you guys can see how it held up and if it's actually worth the 5-star rating in my personal opinion. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you have any specific requests, leave them in the comment section below. And without further ado, let's get into this. All right, so now we are zoomed in. I have a little tape on either side of the eyeballs because you guys know how it is. I'm very messy when I apply my eyeshadow. We're gonna start with an eyeshadow primer, and I'm going to be using the Essence I Love Color Intensifying Eyeshadow Base. This was incredibly highly rated, had lots of reviews on the Ulta website, and it is supposed to be an eyeshadow base for long-lasting, color-intense eye makeup. Has a little wand here for application. Whoa! It's a lot more pigmented than I was expecting. Blend. Ooh, it's actually very smooth. I like it. You can see a little bit of color on the lids, but really not that much. I thought it was gonna be a lot more intense than it was, but we'll see if it actually makes the colors pop on the eye. And for eyeshadow today, I wanted to use 2 different types of eyeshadow. So we're gonna be starting with a palette. This is from e.l.f. and it is their Mad for Matte eyeshadow palette. And all of their eyeshadow palettes actually that look like this, there's a couple of shimmery ones and things like that, are all super highly rated. This is the only one I could find at my local Walmart because Ulta just recently started shipping to Canada, but when I was putting together the products, they had not yet. So as the name would suggest, there are a lot of beautiful matte shades in here, from light all the way to dark. We have some warmer tones. We have a couple of cooler tones as well. Let's swatch a couple of these. Oh, that's actually quite nice. I don't know if that's gonna pick up on camera because it's a fairly light brown, but that went on very smoothly. I'm impressed, e.l.f. Go on. See about this light shade. Oh, that's not gonna be very pigmented at all. Yeah, not as much. The shadows themselves are very smooth. They're not too soft, but they're not super hard either. So they're not crumbly in any way, or at least they're not so far when I'm swatching them. So that's good. So I will see what these look like when I apply them to my eyeball. And I have a couple of shimmery shades that we're gonna put on top to kind of make it pop. So I'm gonna take this nice light shade down here at the bottom and a big fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna apply that all over the lid to kind of give it a base. Because I'm all about that base. About that base. No trouble. I'm gonna take that same fluffy brush and this nice light taupey brown shade here, and I'm gonna be applying that to the crease and sort of a larger amount of the crease, like this much here, just to add a nice transition shade. And it's gonna make those darker shades a lot easier to blend out, especially with my eye shape. I kind of have to apply this shade much higher than normal because otherwise it's just going to look awkward in lighting and things like that. So I'm going to be very generous with applying this all over my eye. I'm gonna apply a little bit of it to the outer corners as well. And it's just going to give it a little bit more of a smoky effect. Next, I'm gonna take this brown shade right here and kind of do the same thing. I'm gonna go into the crease. I'm using a slightly smaller fluffy brush, and I'm just going to deepen up the crease. Then I'm gonna take that deeper brown shade and I'm gonna concentrate that more on the outer corner area kind of thing. Make it a little bit of a faux winged effect. and kind of smoke it out a bit. I'm just gonna take that big fluffy brush again and then just blend everything out. All right, so now I think I wanna go in with a little bit of a shimmer on the eyelid, and I'm gonna be using the NYX Prismatic Eyeshadow in the shade Girl Talk. These are super highly rated on their website. I have another color as well that's an actual, like an aqua blue that I'm gonna be using a little bit later. Oh my goodness, so excited about it. I saw a look on Instagram, or maybe it was Pinterest, I don't remember. And they have this really light, beautiful purple on the inner corner, and I was like, ooh, I wanna do that with blue. I don't know how it's gonna look, but we're gonna try it today. So I think I'm just going to use my finger. Look at this shade. Look how pretty that is. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. I'm just gonna add a little bit to begin with, and then I can build it a little bit later if I need to, but I don't wanna go overboard because I'm gonna be using blue in this look, but yeah. Super pretty eyeshadow. And then I'm just gonna take that big fluffy brush again and just blend out any harsh lines between the shimmer and the matte shades. All right, now that the eyeshadow is mostly in place, at least for now, I'm gonna go into the eyeliner. And today I'm gonna be using the Essence Long Lasting Eye Pencil in the shade Turquoise. Isn't it T-U-R? Turquoise? You guys can see that, right? That does not say turquoise. So this one had a ton of positive reviews. It was one of the most best-selling products on the Ulta website. And it comes in like black and brown, and I think this color and like one other color. So not a lot within this particular lineup, but Essence has a ton of different eyeliners as well. So I thought this would be fun to have on like the waterline, right? Like a nice pop of turquoise. So yeah, so let's check out this bad boy. Ooh, it's a little bit on the crumbly side, and it has sparkles in it. Does it say on here it has sparkles in it? Did I misread that? Super soft eye pencil with precise application, long lasting. It says nothing in there about sparkle. I'm not putting that on my waterline because that is just asking for trouble. I'm gonna have glitter all up in my eyeballs. All right, well, we're gonna have a switch of plans then. All right, so in looking through my eyeliner collection, I actually found two other Essence eyeliners that are similar to that one, but in like a different name. So I'm gonna just try them and see what happens. I have the Essence Kajal? I'm gonna pronounce that completely wrong. And it's in Feel the Maritime, which is a nice turquoise shade, and also Essence Gel Eye Pencil, waterproof in the shade. No, not so much, not a shade name. All right, fine. Fine then, Essence. So let's see which of these shades I will be using instead. That's a pretty like deep blue, but not exactly what I'm looking for. And this one, that one's more in line with what I was looking for this particular look. It's a little bit on the green side, but we'll work with it. We're rolling with it. So yeah, so we're still going with an Essence eye pencil. I don't know how well rated this one is on the Ulta website. If it's any different at all, I will let you guys know. But yeah, this was not marketed at all as a glitter pencil, and I'm pretty sure that it's probably the black one that's super highly rated, and I assume that one doesn't have any glitter in it, but I don't actually know. But yes, this one should be labeled as a glitter pencil Essence. It's misleading. So that's what it looks like on the waterline. It did take some work to get there because it's not super creamy from the get-go. You kind of have to warm it up a little bit. But yeah, I think this would probably work better on the actual lid. I don't think it's supposed to be used on the waterline, so we'll see how it holds up. Actually, you know what? I'll probably set it with that NYX eyeshadow that I was saving for last, so maybe that'll work. Ooh, yeah, let's try that. And the eyeshadow I'm gonna be using to set that waterline is going to be the NYX Prismatic Eyeshadow, and this is in the shade Mermaid, which is totally fitting because that is exactly a mermaid shade. Oh my goodness, that looks so awesome. It's a lot more shimmery than I was anticipating, but it looks good. All right, I think I'm gonna save my mascara for the end because I don't wanna get powder and stuff all over it. So let's go on to the face makeup. We're going all kinds of out of order today. So for face primer, I'm going to be using the CoverGirl and Olay Simply Ageless Anti-Aging Foundation Primer. This is, again, one of the top rated, most best-selling products on the Ulta website that was under $15. And this is said to be a serum primer with anti-aging ingredients to renew skin's surface over time and prep skin for a foundation application. I'm gonna pump a little bit into my hand. Oh, it's white. I wasn't expecting that. I thought this would be clear for some reason. Definitely feels like a cream in my hand. But it goes on quite smoothly. Oh, it has a little bit of a scent to it. It smells like really old school unscented cream. Does that make any sense? But it smooths out nicely. It's not too thick and creamy that it doesn't blend out on the face, so that's really good. And then for foundation, we're bringing back a foundation that I actually owned and I haven't used in a while, so I'm excited to like test it out again. You know when you haven't used something in a while and you bring it back, you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot how much I love this. And that is the Rimmel Lasting Finish Foundation. It is a 25-hour foundation with comfort serum and an SPF of 20 in here. I don't know who's putting on foundation for 25 hours, but That's good to know that it lasts that long. I wish it had a pump because I find this to be so awkward for like pouring it out into my hand, you know? And I was gonna use my L'Oreal blending sponge, but I cannot find it anywhere, so I'm gonna be using this one. It's very, very similar. It has that same sort of a contoured shape to it, and I also love that sponge, so I highly recommend it if you are looking to invest in a sponge. I find it to apply foundation beautifully to the skin. But since I can't find it, we will be using this today. It has a little bit of a perfumey scent to it, which I wasn't expecting. I haven't used this in a while. This is a fairly thick formula. It is a full coverage foundation, so if you're not with someone who's used to applying that to your face, you're probably not gonna like this. I personally find this to be a great foundation, though I haven't used it in a while, so we'll see how it wears throughout the day. Just because I haven't done like a full day sort of a wrap up on using this foundation in a long time, but I find it applies well and it blends out really well on the skin. For concealer, we are using the Nyx Hd Studio Photogenic Concealer, and this is in the shade Light. And again, this is a very highly rated concealer. I don't think I've used this one before, but I could be wrong. It looks like something I would have used. I can't find it anywhere in my collection, so we are going to be testing it out today. And yeah, hopefully this is a good shade match. Whoa, it's very peach toned. Also, I wouldn't call this light per se. All right, it seemed to actually blend out nicely. It's not as peach once it's kind of smoothed out, and the peach seems to have concealed the dark circles, so that's good. Like, I'm glad it like covered up under the eyes really well, but it's just, it feels like the wrong color for my skin tone, you know? It did a pretty good job covering up the dark circles, but this like zit that I have on the side of my nose, it's not doing a good job covering it up, or at least it's not blending out well with the sponge, so I'll try with my finger instead because that worked really well under my eye. Yeah, I don't know, like for me, I can still see the zit on the side of my nose and it's not doing a really good job covering that, so I would say this is very good for just covering up any dark circles, any like spider veins or things that you might have on your face. But like for zits in particular, I would use something a little bit more heavy duty. I don't think this is gonna do the job. Okay, on to powder. We are again going in with the NYX product. This is the HD Studio Photogenic Finishing Powder. It's super finely milled, so it just goes onto the skin really smoothly, blurs out everything. It's a great powder. The only thing is again, it is super finely milled powder. So like, even just putting it on my brush, I can see like little poofs of it going up everywhere. Oh my goodness, that concealer like oxidized crazy under my eyes. And as soon as I set it with powder, it went like peachy orange. So hopefully it's not showing up too badly on camera, but I apologize. This is definitely not one of my favorite concealers ever. All right, moving on to bronzer, and today I'm gonna be using one of my favorites, and I'm so happy that it was one of the best-selling products in the bronzer category on the Ulta website, and this is the Butter Bronzer. You guys can see I've hit pan on this bad boy. That's how much I use it. And it smells like a tropical vacation. So I'm going to be applying this on the outside of my face, sort of a little bit underneath the cheekbones a bit. For blush today, I'm using the L'Oreal True Match blush. This is in the shade Baby Blossom, which is a new shade apparently. Just a really nice soft pink shade, and I love for these ones in particular, they have ones that are, I think, neutral, but they definitely have warm and cool tones as well, so you can kind of pick the shade that's going to best suit your skin tone, and they make it really, really easy for you. That is a very, very subtle shade. I think this will work better when I don't have so much self-tanner on my face, but it's really pretty. Like, I can see it sort of showing up, and I'm gonna build it a little bit more to give it some pop there, but I do like it. All right, now I'm gonna switch gears again and go back to the eyes because it's annoying me that they aren't done. And I'm going to be using the light shade here, and I'm just going to smooth it out underneath the lower lash line, and then I'm going to put a little bit of this darker shade into sort of the outside edge just to connect it to that slight wing that I have going on. For mascara, I'm going in with the Maybelline Lash Stiletto Ultra Length Mascara for up to 70% longer lashes. It says here it's going to give me extreme length and shine. Continue building lashes until you reach your desired look. Do not let it dry between coats. I have never used this mascara before, so I'm kind of curious. I don't normally use just lengthening mascaras. I tend to use ones that build a lot of volume. So this will be a first for me. Whoa, that is a very long mascara wand. Oh my goodness. It like is full on the entire length of my eye. So there's one coat. It's not like over the top in any way, so I don't know. I'm gonna add another coat and we'll see what that looks like. We're also going to ignore the fact that I have mascara all over my lid. So that is what my mascara looks like with 2 coats on. Let's see here. Honestly, I like it. I like the way that it looks, but it's not giving me the length I was kind of expecting. I was really expecting over the top dramatic length and a difference, but to me, that's not like as crazy as some of the other drugstore ones that I've tried. Yeah, I will apply it to the other side and we'll see what it looks like. But yeah, I'm not overly excited about this mascara. It's not bad, but it's not my favorite. All right, now I'm gonna go on to my brows. I know, I'm jumping all over the place, but stay with me here. And I'm using the Nyx Eyebrow Gel. This is their waterproof, long-lasting, smudge-proof gel. I used this years ago and I have not gone back to it, but today we are going to be retesting it out and I'm gonna be using it a little bit differently. What I used to do is blob a bunch of my hand and then dip a little spoolie brush into it and then brush my brows in place, and it sort of added a little bit of volume to my brows. But today I'm going to be using an eyebrow brush and sort of brushing the product into my brows and see what kind of look that creates. So I'm going to be using a mix, I think today, of brunette and blonde. Brunette feels like my exact shade, but I feel like it's going to make my brows look really dark. So I'm gonna mix it up between the two. The pros about this product, it is very pigmented. It is definitely gonna show up in the brows and be very impactful, and you can do a really precise job. The cons, a little bit goes a long way. So if you are new to brows, this is a trickier product to use if you're going to sort of use a brush to put it in and not like a little spoolie, because you have to be very careful with kind of applying those really light hair-like strokes so you don't get like a penciled in brow look. But it is definitely bulletproof, so if you're looking for something that's gonna be super long lasting, that is definitely the brow product to check out. And then I went on to highlight and I used the NYX Duo Chromatic Illuminating Powder. This is in the shade Snow Rose. And you can see I'm applying it to my skin and it doesn't really show up, which I was kind of surprised. So I put on like 2, 3, 4 coats on my cheeks, down the bridge of my nose and on the Cupid's bow, and I just don't really see it showing up that well. So I was a little disappointed in that because I really thought it would be over the top and super crazy, and it just isn't. But you do see a bit of that pinky reflex in the light, but yeah, I wasn't super wowed by it. So then I decided for the inner corner of the eye, I wanted to do a mixture of that chromatic highlight as well as the NYX Mermaid shade I used earlier. So I started with the NYX shade and I sort of blended that into the inner corner area, and then I put over top of that chromatic shade, and I really like the way that it turned out. It really picked up that beautiful pop of blue on the waterline, and yeah, I think it's really cool. And then for the lip, I went in with a cult classic, which is the Revlon Super Lustrous Lipstick, and I chose the shade Primrose. I love the formula of these particular lipsticks. I picked up like 4 when I was buying this one, and they're so creamy. And then to set everything, I'm using the NYX Dewy Finish Long Lasting Setting Spray. I've never used a setting spray before, but I've heard good things, hence why it's in this video. It is a lightweight water-based setting spray that keeps your makeup looking dewy and amazing through any kind of weather. Whoa. That was like less of a mist and more of a spray. I wasn't expecting that. I'm so used to the Urban Decay one, which is like a super fine mist, and this I was like spraying it on. I'm like, it's like a garden hose. That was really intense, but hopefully it does a good job in keeping my makeup intact. Of the products that I used today, probably my favorite ones, I would say one would be the Rimmel Lasting Finish Foundation. I love this foundation, really good, full coverage, layerable foundation, and I think it does a good job at that. My one thing with this is that it tends to oxidize a little bit. I also really like the primer. I feel like my skin looks really good right now, and I think the combination of the foundation and this is doing a phenomenal job. So I will continue to play around with this. The only thing I didn't love was the scent, that sort of unscented cream kind of a scent. I don't know what it was, but that's the only thing I didn't love about it. Obviously my butter bronzer was a big hit, as you can tell by the fact that I've hit pan on it. And I also really love the lipsticks. I think that they have such a nice consistency to them, huge selection of colors to choose from, and again, like I said before, I picked up 4 of them and I love every single one of them. So I'm excited to continue to incorporate those into various looks, but I think it's a great formula. They're not going to be long lasting, so this is probably not going to stay on my lips, but the colors are beautiful and super affordable. And in terms of products that I did not so much like, one would be the NYX HD Concealer. I found that it was such a poor shade match, and for the fact that it was called Fair and it was this kind of a peachy beige tone, that was just like, it threw me off, and it oxidized a lot on my skin, and so I had to kind of I had to touch it up a lot to make it sit nicely on the skin. So that was unfortunate, and it also doesn't cover up any acne spots. So I personally wouldn't recommend that product. I think there are better drugstore concealers out there. I also didn't like the Essence liner, the one that I originally picked up for this video. It says nowhere on here that it is sparkly, and somehow it's very sparkly. And I tested it again, I'm like, maybe there's like stuff on it, but I like put it on my hand a little bit more. No, there is sparkles built into this product. So I'm hoping that the black one is different, so I can't test out the long-lasting effects of this or how great it is, unfortunately, but I think that this definitely needs to be relabeled. Then I didn't love the NYX Duo Chromatic Highlight. I was just expecting it, based on the name, to be very over-the-top, fun little highlight to play around with, and it just doesn't really show up on the skin that much. You can kind of, again, see that sort of a pinky undertone to it, but it just wasn't super over the top. If you're looking for something that's going to be a very subtle chromatic effect, this is probably a good product for you. But for me and what I was anticipating that would come out of this particular product, it didn't deliver. So now I will go about my day and I will check in with you guys in a bit and let you guys know what has held up and what has not, and see if my opinion has changed on any of the products. All right, so it is the end of the day and this is now what my makeup looks like. So I would say in terms of pros, my eyebrows are now basically semi-permanently tattooed onto my face. Like, it took some work getting the product off of my hand, so this is gonna be interesting taking this off tonight. Also, my eyeshadow is still intact and it looks great. I think that the primer is really good. I like the eyeshadows as well. I think they did a great job with that. In terms of the products I wasn't so excited about, the under eye concealer. It isn't working. It's faded a lot and it's oxidized on my skin and it just doesn't look good anymore. And then the eyeliner, which I understand isn't technically supposed to be used in the waterline and probably holds up a lot better when it's just applied to the lid, but in using it on the waterline and even setting it with a powder, it just didn't have the longevity that I was kind of hoping for. And the highlight just isn't there, and I get it, it's chromatic, it's supposed to have like a really cool punch, and I actually received a press package of all of their chromatic highlights. So I like swatched a couple on my hand. So you can see there's a blue toned one, a rosy one, and then the one that I have right now. And you can just see they're all chrome. Like, there's not a lot of highlight to them. I think these would be really cool layered on top of a highlight, because then you have the pop of the highlight plus the really cool colored reflect in it, just to add that sort of second dimension to it. But on their own, I just felt that they were lacking that extra like underlying highlighting pigmentation. They were just a particular color reflex. So I wasn't overly impressed with it based on the way that I had applied it to the face. I will try it kind of mixed in with some highlighting powder and just see how that looks, but on its own it was just like a big wah wah. The blue around my eyeballs though, it's a bit of a disaster. I'm gonna go take that off now. And that's everything for this video. Give it a thumbs up if you want to see more 5-star rated products tested, and if you have any requests for locations or brands or anything like that, leave them in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that's everything. I hope you guys are having an amazing, amazing week so far, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Love you girls. Mwah.